Welcome everyone, this is Soldier Mayhem for Dark Empire Battle Pirates Television. Welcome to our first ever roundtable, which is not much of a roundtable so far. Just me here, but hopefully we'll get a few more people jumping on here in a little bit. I'm going to start this off, since just me here, I'm going to talk about, I've got a couple of guys in my alliance. We're right now and getting connected to a few guys off last night, and they're kind of lower guys, so I thought I'd just start out, since just me here, start talking about base design and maybe go over a little bit of guard fleet ideas. And a lot of the lower guys nowadays, they use drones, and they're getting into about level 60s now. Which, I mean, drones is okay when you're lower guy, but when you start getting to level 60 from up, drones are not really a good idea because, I mean, well, these guys can actually use missile fleets. I mean, your base and use missile fleets, to snipe your targets and use them to chain over to your turret or your guard fleet hull. I've seen it done a few times. Did have some of my base until I seen a couple guys do that to me and use them to chain over to like a turret or one of my enforcers, and I was like, I'm gonna pull those drones out. Not a good idea to have those anymore with missile fleets making a really big comeback. But what I'm gonna actually, let me see here. Screen this up. I'm kind of winging this today here as I'm going along. But pretty much what you want to do is pretty much have, I mean, there's a lot of places out there. Facebook, you can actually get good base designs nowadays. Facebook groups, I mean, there's other places, you can actually get good, solid base designs. I'm just going to start, I'm going to pull up one here. All right, this is one like an older design I've got. I'm just going to screen share this because this actually shows you pretty much how to build a base. So, all right, here we go. I don't know if this is clear to everyone or not, but this is actually just kind of an example of actually where to actually place your guard fleets and actually how to place your turrets. Let me see if I can actually zoom in a little bit more. Let's see. There you go. That helped a lot. All right. And you always want your frontline turrets right through this area, right up front of your base. This is always ideal to actually get the person that's attacking your base to actually make them stop and take out these turrets right here before they get in any further into your base. And you always want to have something, a whole like where this guy has 4 Levi's. I know this is like a lower level base, so don't get on me, guys, for that. This is just what I had handy, and it had, kind of, explained everything what I was looking for. But you want to have one of your guards right behind some of these, so you can actually, while they're stopped, you can actually have your guard firing and hitting this guy while he's stopped right here to take this guy out. Then for the front turret. And you also want to have your back long-range turrets back there by your ops, so they're actually firing over your guard fleet, some of your guard, and firing also to hit the attacker. And it's really simple to actually, a lot of people have trouble actually setting a base up. I mean, it's pretty well simple. Basically, you take it split screen, the photo you want to copy if you're going to copy one or come up with your own design. Most people copy, I'll be honest, and you just take them and, let someone hit them, test them, and you go work on exactly what needs fixed. I've done that myself a few times. I've done that a few times myself, it works pretty well. I mean, most people in your sector will actually test your base for you, and they'll tell you, oh, you need to move this turret here, or you need to move your guard fleet back just a hair more, or I'll tell you where you went wrong with your base. it's always a good idea just to get a friendly hit every once in a while, just to make sure your guard and your base is still up to key. Because I mean, nowadays with all the holes that they Keyside rolls out, is really, really, really hard to actually keep up to date on as far as your holes, hole wise. I mean, guard fleet. And that brings me up to what Kickside just talked about. I know watching the BV show, they had the BP designer, lead game designer on. He was talking about the new repair token system, and speed up system, for building fleets, which I think will be really handy to keep up with some of your refits, like in your guards, because that will be really handy to refit your guard fleets. Because really, on your guard fleets, you don't want to have those out of your base for a really long time. Because I mean, what I would say do, depends on your guard. If you're refitting your guard, just taking armor or something that's going to be like say 8 hours, save up a couple tokens. And if you got a 2 4-hour token, you use those 2 4-hour tokens, and your guards, boom, right back in your base, which is actually handy. I think it's going to be a really awesome system to have, because I mean, especially for guard fleets. I mean, guard fleets come and go nowadays with all the holes, and you have to constantly refit to keep anything up. Be actually pretty handy to keep your guard fleets up, and also use on other fleets that if you go save your tokens up, you can pretty much probably get your fleets down and pretty much build them pretty much close, like refits. You can have them pretty well close to no build time at all on them hardly, which that would be really awesome. And also, as far as repairs, I'm not sure about the repairs, because I mean, that would be pretty cool too. I guess we're gonna actually have to wait and see how you actually have to earn these tokens. I know he was talking about missions and possibly a few other odds and ends, maybe even adding it to purchases. But I don't think it'd be a good idea to add it to purchases myself, because I mean, that's just gonna give your corners, like some people, I'm not gonna name names, I know quite a few of them nowadays. That's gonna give these guys pretty much a really big leg up that they don't really need, because I mean, they spend so much coin in this game as it is already. I mean, they already got the big powerful fleets that can run through pretty much any base. I mean basically only the repair tokens and the build tokens is going to do for them, just make it cheaper for them. And I mean, they're the ones not really having issues with as far as build times and repair times. I mean, it's just guys like me, it's a medium corner that spends $20 to $30 maybe a month or more every once in a while. Depends on if I feel like it, have the money. But I mean, it's really us that have the issue with the build times and repair times. And it's like, this is like, I feel like it could be a thing that actually would benefit more of the corners in some areas, because I mean, they're going to get by cheaper and they can coin more. Because they get by cheaper. They have like half a dozen of these tokens. They just like, 500 coins where it would cost me 1,000. They turn in 10 of those, and they have like 10 of them, and we're 500 coin now. We're overrun by more powerful fleets by these big corners, because they can just get discounts now, basically, these tokens, if they buy so much coin. I don't really think it'd be a good idea to add it to purchases, and just to give these big guys, the corners, a leg up even more than what they already have in this game. And I know it kicks out his bottom line to make money, but still, though, you got to look out for some of your little guys too, because I mean, we all have our players too, and we do spend some money on this. But I mean, last several months, it's getting harder and harder to actually spend money on this game, because I mean, say if I spend $50 on this game, am I getting the same value as the corner that spends $100? The mega corner that spends $1,000? You know, am I getting the exact same value for my money? No, I don't feel like I'm getting the exact same value from, because I mean, build time for me is so high that it costs 1,000 coin just to coin one fleet or repair. So some of my fleets cost maybe like 30 gold. And am I getting the exact same value as these guys up here, mega corners? No, I don't feel like I'm getting the exact same value out of my money. I mean, it's something Kickside needs to. I know Kickside, he said about reevaluating the system, which I think needs to be done, because I mean it's not really balanced. Because I mean, if you it seems like the more money you pour into the game, is you're being rewarded for that. But I mean, really, it should be, you know, rewarded for how much you play. Like if you look here, like a reward system where if you log in every day, just for, you know, say you get 2 gold for every day you log in. I mean, that would help corners. I mean, every level. I mean, the mega corner, it wouldn't help the mega corners, but it helps corners that people that don't really play, middle of the corners, because you can save that coin up and make a big purchase, you know, of something, you know, you save it for like a month. Every day you log in, you get 2 gold. I mean, you need that gold up, and you can, you know, speed something up, or, you know, there's a reward system basically for, you know, being a reliable player. And just because you didn't spend so much, it's just because you actually logged in each day and actually played the game. I mean, that's what I think Kickstarter needs to actually work on. And for also, there's been quite a few bugs lately I've noticed actually floating around again. Let me see if I can actually get my game up here. And I'll show you one that I've actually noticed Kickside. I've actually talked to Kickside about this one. I talked to the CM, and I've talked to the community, whatever you call them, support people. They actually had no clue about this, and I finally talked to the CM, and he's actually going to report in about this. And they're actually looking at how to fix it. 1 second here. Let me bring up screen share. Alright, this is a bug I've actually noticed since a couple updates ago, is my Urbers, my drone fleets here. They're actually off-sided, kind of cockeyed, off to the side of the ship. And apparently they wanted to run every kind of Kickstarter customer service. They wanted me to do every kind of test in the book, and they couldn't figure out. I did every test on my computer. First they said it was my computer, and I run every test they wanted. Then they were like, "Oh, okay, we don't know what it is, but still my computer." So finally, I talked to the CM, and he's actually said it wasn't. He looked at my records and said it wasn't my computer. He said there is some kind of glitch in the display, so they're actually supposed to be working on to fix this. But yeah, it's actually showing where my things are off center. So even my unit disruptor right here, my raise is actually off. And actually, when I actually last time I drove this fleet, it actually, even in combat, it's actually off, and my Indian disruptor field is actually off to the side left. Let's see, that's the right side. Be off to the right side about 3 to 4 inches, and it makes it really hard to drive your fleet when your thing's hanging off the other side of the boat where it's not supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, it's actually doing a better job. I mean, as far as, bugs here lately a little bit, and trying to get on top of some things. But I think Kisa just needs to actually, step back and actually, like Doug said on there, he, step back and review some of their systems they have in place for Battle Pirates. Because a lot of this is old code and pretty much outdated nowadays. I hate to say it, but it's pretty much we're playing a game that's been around for a while and it's old code and outdated. But yeah, anyway. Also, I've got this meeting here. I'm gonna roll on for a little bit. I got a couple things I'd like to see Kickstarter actually. They're talking about adding a bunch of stuff. I actually got what I started was kind of like a little wish list on most areas I think Kickstarter needs to actually hit. To hit. Hang on one second. I just got a message here. Oops, sorry, people. Someone just messaged me, told me to check something here. Let's see what. Okay. All right, I got you guys. Thanks. I didn't know the YouTube chat was up. Thanks, guys. All right, let's see here. Thanks for the heads up. And I see you guys now. All right. And to answer your question, no, it won't be only for repairs. It won't be for only repairs. It'll actually be build tokens. And from what he was talking, is going to be like see, you get like a 1 hour, maybe a 2 hour, and a 4 hour on your build tokens, and also the repair tokens will be the exact same. Yeah, and it's going to be kind of. I'm not sure exactly if there's actually what I was actually hoping for would be one for that would be like whole fix your whole entire fleet, like or build a whole entire fleet outright, which I was hoping for a coin like that, which he didn't mention anything about it. So who knows what the kicks say. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Kickstarter is a little crazy at times, but all right, I got you, Death Machine. Appreciate the heads up on that. I didn't know. All right. All right. Appreciate you guys for watching and giving me the heads up on that. Still kind of new at learning how to use this YouTube stuff, so. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Where in the world was I? Oh, ranting about Kickstarter. All right. What do you? Since I'm ranting about Kickstarter, what about? Let's talk about. You guys got any? Want to talk about the last raid? Kickstarter had the pre-advertisement that this is actually going to be an easy raid, which was not so much. Because I mean, even though I had pretty good fleets, I still struggled on it. It was very difficult. I mean, even and turned out my best actually fleet for this last raid was actually my Mercs at R10 with missiles. Missiles on my Highlander fleet, which I could do 43s. It turned out I did 43s. 43s with it. Which, I mean, it was kind of, and also my biggest pet peeve actually really was with the last raid was, I mean, they made it a total anti-sub raid. I mean, most of the time, usually on raids, there's actually one target you can actually do with subs, and if you grind it out, you can do it for not only next to no repair cost, unless you get kind of crazy like me, or once in a while you mess up and you get your fleet killed. You go, oops, oh, I got too close. Get your fleet killed, which happens from time to time. You can do it for very low repair cost and very low coin. But, I mean, sometimes, I mean, Kickstarter has been talking about all these, you know, trying to help players, but when they do raids like this, it actually feels the opposite. They're actually trying to help us, you know, because, I mean, they make these raids very difficult to actually even play. And, I mean, it just feels like, I mean, they're talking, you get the horse's mouth and they're talking like this, but over here they're saying this and doing this. I mean, I've even heard quite a few people actually thinking this about Kickside because, I mean, the left hand doesn't actually know what the right hand's actually doing. It seems like a Kickside. I mean, just given the recent last few months events, last few weeks even, I mean, Kickside is not really communicating properly, I don't think, inside. Maybe it's something they need to actually look at because, I mean, the CM doesn't have a clue what's going on. And apparently, sometimes even the programmers don't have pretty quote idea what's going on. And actually, things are slipping into the game that's not supposed to actually be there. I mean, we've had, I'm not going to say we know things that's been released that shouldn't have been there. We all know what I'm talking about, you know. Oh, crap, I must as well just say it and get it over with. You know, the sub fix, you know, that they released, you know, what's supposed to actually be there. And, oh, oops, we messed up. We're gonna take that right back out, and because now there's a whole big uproar about it from us, the community, about, you know, Kickside fixing that, and where there's really something, you know, wasn't a too bigger issue, but to, you know, just people that use Reapers, which is not a lot of people. But I do think it was something that needed to fix because, I mean, it really, like they said, people said, you know, you couldn't actually kill them if your Reaper fleet come into your base. There's not really anything you could do because you couldn't hit them because they were invisible. Which, I mean, it's not really fair because there still should be pretty well visible and able to shoot at them at least once. Actually kill the guys because it would be a pain in the neck. Actually, not to kill them. But, I mean, Kickstarter just need to look at things sometimes and think about things. But, I mean, for us, that will affect us players in general. I don't think they do a really good idea about that. And also, I think they actually need to do, they're talking about testing on things. But, I mean, they actually say, you know, they test things, you know, as far as chart-wise and all this. But isn't that also what your test server is actually for, to test things? And actually, they keep talking about how us as players actually come up with some of the stuff that, you know, mix components on ships and, you know, add certain things, ships that they didn't even think about, you know, and make a powerful fleet of it. And they're like, then they had to go in and fix that whatever, you know, powerful fleet that we, you know, come up with and mix, you know. And well, isn't that what my thing is? Isn't that what your test server is for? Actually, invite players in and say, we're thinking about adding, you know, saying we're going to add this new hull and this new weapon, and you know, just play around with it, and also play around with it on some other older ships to see what you can do with it. You know, isn't that what your test server is actually for, to actually test things like that? Have invite us as players, because obviously, according to even Kickstarter itself, well, we can't think of some of the ideas you as players come up with because you got to spend a lot of time playing this game, game, and we don't think like you guys. And wouldn't that actually fix a lot of your issues? Or is that end of the problem? Because if you invite all of some of, let's say, invite 150 some of your top players, I'm not saying mega corners. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about players that actually play the game every day and actually know BP, fleet builds and things, how to actually play BP and actually good strategizers, pretty much, play BP and that's not mega corners. Don't let your mega, all necessarily mega corners, but anyway, then actually go through it and say, what would it, if you put, so let's just use I can't think of it, but say one of the new weapons, put it on like an old ship, like put it on a battle cruiser and say, oh, see what it does. And because, technically you can actually build anything in a test server. You get your unlimited coin. You can pretty much build anything. It's not going to cost anything, and it's not going to cost Kickstarter anything. Because you have zero unlimited coin, and you have zero airtime. You just click and boom, it's fixed, You actually build anything you want, and have players actually test hulls and armors and mix, just have them, let's say, all right, we're going to give you guys, let's say, 2 days. Take a test script and say, here's this hull and this weapon, and we want you to, just take it and run with it and play with it for 2 days, and just give us your feedback. Also, we want you to take this and play with it, take a weapon and put it on the older hulls, and just see what you can come up with, and then give us your feedback. And we're actually going to be watching, the data and just see what you guys actually can do, and with it. That would fix a lot of their kick-size problems, with saying that we couldn't think of combinations that you guys come up with that make sense, like armors and weapons on this hot weapon, but we never thought about adding to it. And I've seen this. Even Kickside was actually kind of amazed. I remember, the MCX. There's actually some players that actually put launchers on it, and it was a missile hull. Everybody at first was like, MCX with launchers, it was U launchers, I think, and everybody's like, oh, that's not gonna work. But actually, it was a pretty good little fleet. Even Kickside liked it so much they actually started putting in their raids for a little while. MCXs and launchers, it was such a good fleet. And it was something that, just us as players come up with it. It was like, what would happen if I put launchers on a missile fleet? And you were like, I don't know. Hey, let's do it. What do you got to lose? But Kickside just needs to do a little bit better thinking and actually get us involved in testing. Players involved in testing. I know they supposedly have a test group, but nobody knows who's in this test group and actually how things are tested. And I think really they should actually do like they did for the Arena tournament. Arena, when they first released Arena, anytime they do that, post it on forums and actually invite players, some of your players, and as a test, which that went over very well. I know Kickside don't like things leaked, but let's get real. Things are going to get leaked, and I'm not going to name names, but there's sites out there that leaks information. But from that, Kickside don't really want release, but things are going to get released anyway. Why not control those releases? What gets leaked through, like a test, and that way, what's getting leaked, because then you're not like, well, we got actually. I'll use this UAV Locust, and it was leaked, and we were all thinking it was coming out in the raid, but it was actually dropped in the Forsaken missions. Why not, control your leaks? Leak. That way you can say, oh, we've got, this and this and this one. It'll make a little more sense. And it says, make it a lot easier us as players too. I know they say they're supposed to be working on that, but that's another one of those things we're yet to see. But anyway, great. I'm on my soapbox again. I love it when I get on my soapbox. Anyway, yeah. So So, trying to think of anything else I didn't cover there. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm pretty much done ranting about kicks. I hope. Let's see. I think we're gonna go in. How many of you guys have actually tried the uranium campaign? It's actually live right now. Let me see here. I'm actually going to go into my battle pirates here. Alright, here we go. Alright, this is, just so everyone knows, this is my base, and I was talking about bases earlier. So, since I'm back in my base here, I have to kind of go over a little bit here. This is actually what I was talking about, front turrets. I've got Goliath here, Gargoyle, I start calling it Goliath. I don't know. Anyway, I got a Gargoyle here, and I've actually got 2 flamethrower napalm missiles. Then I got an executioner right here, and this is actually what I call my kill stopping zone. Stopping zone to actually get anyone into my base stopping. And this is actually the new flame thing that was in the last raid. I've actually given this one right here. My old tower, and actually this thing is pretty awesome. I've actually got hit once since I've actually installed this thing. This thing is pretty awesome. Can't wait to get all of them in right now. I actually had to switch out one of my ice launchers to another napalm because I didn't have the base power to actually put any more of these guys in my oil wells. So I actually had to change it out to napalm so I can actually put some more of these guys in tower with my water oil rigs. This actually puts out a pretty good little fire field, which actually surprised me. I thought it was going to be something that was going to be, but yeah, it puts out a pretty good little fire field, and it's actually pretty awesome. I don't know. It's the guy. Only problem I've seen with it so far is it doesn't really last that long because I mean the guy, he actually got pretty much to this first oil rig and actually blew that up. And by the time he actually started to move through it, it was done dissipated, which actually was like a really disappointing. Which all right, well I'm gonna just pull up this for. I've actually done the first 2 stages. I'm just gonna show you guys actually how I've got my Nighthawks. It's actually what pretty much on the uranium campaign, if you got any kind of a sub, it's actually you can pretty much prep them out, which is actually awesome. Which I wish they would do that with regular dredges because pretty much regular dredges, last time I was in one, there was pretty much thermal everywhere, which I hated. Don't get me started on that. I pretty much hate anything for thermal. So this week here, I can actually outrange most thermal just about a little bit. Speaking of which, on thermal, actually, I think it'd be a pretty good, cool idea if Kicksite actually went in and actually, if you're, like, say, got a fleet that actually has thermal on it, actually add a way where you can actually see your thermal range. Because I mean, I've got one fleet that's actually got thermal, and it's really hard for them. I go up against Nighthawk fleet to actually judge my thermal range. I know what my missile range is. I have turrets on it, 3 on it, and it's really. I know if I'm actually that's 80, so I know it's right just below 68. I think is the 68 is the range on the VH2. And it's really hard to actually judge my thermal range, especially going after Nighthawks. Alright, I'm going to start the campaign here. Although I think it would be a pretty cool idea if they actually, had it with somebody you could actually see your thermal range. And see, we know they added the countermeasures. When you tell them you have a little green circle, that's your countermeasure range. And it'd be pretty cool if they actually did that to your thermal somehow. All right, I'm going to zoom out here. And all right, this is actually the first one. The first one here. your first set you actually do, and they're all almost the exact same. They just ships change out on these guys just a little bit from stage to stage. And if you do it, you're going to use subs. I mean, the best thing to do is just have patience, because it does take you. Oh crap! My thing's not. Subs not responding there. Oops. Because it does take a little bit of patience to use subs. Oh crap. I gotta run, Forrest, run! Get a range. Alright, then you have to actually watch these guys that are actually floating around. They're the ones you have to watch. Because I don't know what somehow they got on them things, feeding them things, but man, they got speed. Even the green Hulk, man, has got speed on it now. I don't know what they feed these things, kick-ass feed these things, but whew, they're fast. So you got to be pretty much out of range and run pretty much. You know, just to keep out of range. Yeah, I don't know what kicks I feed some of these holes sometimes when they put these things in, but man, I think we need to start. They need to Kixer needs to give us where they feed their holes, man. Make our holes a little bit better. So some of these. Okay, crap! I ran out of time again. I gotta go. Row your boat. Alright, yeah. Oh, I think I was maybe hope that you can catch me. Go around that way. There you go. Yeah, see what I mean? They're fast. I can be halfway across there and almost on you in no time. You have a pretty fast fleet, and the other thing about using subs, not Hawks, is when they're up, they're not as fast as they are under. Yes, made it just in time. Yes. Am I good or what? Hey, come back here. Don't run away from me. Oh, close, but no cigar, buddy. All right, here we go. Ready for round 2. And also, just whatever you do, don't get cornered, because that hurts when you get cornered. Puts a hurt on your feet and everything else. Alright, time to run again. Now run. Alright, here we go. Gotta get over here. And also, if you're pretty much new to using subs, you can actually use the icons on your screen to actually measure how far, if you need to actually retreat to actually judge range on as far as the island, because if you don't retreat far enough, weapons on that island will actually shoot at you. And basically, you just use some of the icons to actually measure your range a little bit. It's kind of hard to explain and do to actually put it into practice. You just have to pretty much, I've gotten used to this. I've been using subs quite a bit now. I've got used to, judging the range. I have to actually fall back to actually get out of the range of anything in front of that middle turret. But pretty much all you need to do is just prep this guy with your subs. You can pretty much prep out everything in all 3 levels. Then you get all you do is go back with pretty much any fleet. I mean, you can use mortars, you can use Highlander fleet if you got one, NCs or anything to take out this middle part. And actually, last night I was actually messing around with. I was just kind of bored, and I was messing around, and I was hitting this campaign, and I actually used the up key and hit 0 with my Highlander fleet going into the island, which actually let my Highlander fleet select multiple targets. And it actually worked pretty well, because normally you actually just firing it, let's say at this target right here, that target, and you actually just get a boom. Actually boom, and it just affects this guy and this guy maybe right here, actually close to him. But if you actually hit the 0 key, you're actually firing on several different turrets at one time, and I've actually got mine Highlander fleet ranked up pretty good, and I can actually get a boom and actually pretty much kills most of them in a couple minutes, less than a minute. You can take out a pretty good little area with everything. Works very, very well. I've also learned you can actually do that with your subs. If you're ranking subs, hit the up key and 0 if you're hitting a cargo. That way you can actually get VXP for each ship every time you hit a cargo, and just oh crap, I'm out of range. On range. Oops. Didn't get out range in time. See, right about where the right in there is for the range for that center island. And you can actually see if I can get this guy prepped out here. Die! There you go. Good, Reefer. Die. All right. Let's see. I hope I got. All right. I'll just wait here till I can actually retreat. All right. But now you can actually come in and pretty much just take out this center island, and you'll get your uranium, which is actually very handy. But speaking of which, uranium opens the door for selling, the last update, which actually I thought was actually pretty awesome. They reduced uranium costs on a lot of components, and which actually I thought was really, really awesome. Because that lets pretty much opens the door for people that like me that don't get a lot of uranium, just do the uranium campaign and weekly missions and drag bases. That's where I get 90% of my uranium. Opens the door where you can actually still save a nice chunk of uranium and still actually refit stuff. I mean retrofit. I don't know how to call it refit. Retrofit things and uranium, and still saving 90% of your big chunk for holes. I mean, holes is really the thing that burns a lot of uranium, and trying to keep up with all your retrofitting all your holes is a pain in the butt to actually try to keep up with these guys. And it's really hard to save up your uranium, but and keep your lab going. But this, I think, is going to be a big help, because you're still saving, say, 30 or 1,000 uranium, but you got 1,500. You can actually you can save uranium and keep your lab busy. That's what I like about it. It's actually the first time in a long time I've actually had my lab constantly busy, researching something. I've actually got it going now, because actually with this uranium campaign, I'm actually going to start my Nighthawks to R4, which actually gives me 19% concussion damage, which I think this is going to be also for my Nighthawks. And also some of these retrofit like holes, A lot of them I don't take up all the way. Just me on some things. Some things I don't take all the way up because especially if there's a lot of uranium, I just take it like the 19% concussion damage. I think is going to help me more than what the R5 would. So the R5 is I think 50% missile damage, which Rise of right now I don't think it's going to be that much of a help to me. So I'm actually going to not actually take mine all the way up to R5 as at the moment. I'm actually going to stop at R4 because I think the concussion damage is going to be more than what I actually need, and for its missile damage. So then I'm going to, start retrofitting something else and say that maybe using for another hull. That's the way I easily. Also, my components when I actually retrofit my components, usually I do it by ship. I try to do it by if I'm my most used ship. I try to plan my stuff out because I like. I'll be honest, I'm a red uranium. Uranium's tight, so I try to budget my uranium, and I actually try to plan it out by fleet. And right now I'm actually spending most of my retrofits is for my not hot fleet. That's my main focus on this my not hot fleet. Then after that, I'm probably gonna move over to my another fleet. Just depends on what I've actually got going at the time and what I think is actually gonna benefit me the most. And I try to it's a hard with Kickside way Kickside does things and release things. I try to sit down, budget out my plan for is uranium and hulls, and then they release all these retrofit packs and they do the R10 hulls retrofits, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go back and read this one because that's actually gonna be awesome. And that's the way I did my mercs. I was like, man, those things are pretty cool. I see a couple guys actually have them. They're doing track bases and all kinds of 65 strongholds and missions with them. I was like, man, that is cool. I'm going to have to go do that. So, it's like, and actually mercs or R10, I've actually even hit a couple bases with them. They're actually pretty cool little fleet. Kick says I actually like when they actually do that because it actually takes an older hull and updates it, and makes it relevant again, which is actually I love. I actually had launchers on mine, so to get them when I get them to taking them up to R10, I actually go back and refit mine to put missiles on it because I should get that missile damage bonus that's actually on the which took me a while to actually do, but I think it's actually worth it. It's actually worth it. There's actually quite a few, little fleets like that. I mean, if you're a low-level player, I would actually strongly recommend mercs for you right now. Because if you can actually budget your one fleet, you can actually get to R10. And if you put the D95, I think it's F, or no, Z. Z, I think there's a Z, which is I've got on mine, is the one that's got the bypass. And 1,000 damage is actually, you can pretty much do some damage with those guys. Even for a low-level baser, even missions, you can do pretty much damage on missions. You can do, I think, pretty much a 40 on auto, 47 you have to drive. Anything on 47 and up, you have to drive. But you can do 40s and 34s autos with not too much damage. I mean, you're going to take damage anytime you auto a fleet, but missions. But you can still do, and you take even less damage if you use a crew, which there's actually only damage you really take in missions as far as missile damage and ballistic damage and concussion damage. So if you're actually building any kind of missile fleet for missions, use heavily ballistic armor. If you got the alloy MC3 MCX, I think, use the 3 because it gives you more ballistic and missile damage if you're building a mission fleet. And it's actually a lot better. For missions. And I've even used it pretty much on all my fleets. My alloy armor, even some of my bigger, higher level fleets, I use it. because it's a lot lighter and it still gives me 45% missile, 45 ballistic. I mean, and it's pretty good. I mean, you don't really need explosion defense on a lot of stuff because you can pretty much outrun mortars, or if you got anti-mortars on your any fleet, you can outrun them. So you really don't need that other one, for explosion defense, unless you've got what they call creeper fleets, like a, I don't know, what is it, like a Hellhound or Hellhound, or I mean Hellhounds. Most of those guys speed up. So Hell Strikers. I think they're for saying all these new fleets and everything. Yeah, like, get mixed up with all these names very close to Hell Strikers. And even Jug X. I mean, because a lot of your Jug X just crawl through bases. You need that explosion defense actually a little bit to help. But, so you need a little bit higher explosion defense on some of them. But, yeah. Anyway, well, I guess this is just Soldier of Mayhem. I'm going to sign off now, guys. So I'm just pretty much just sitting here rambling at this point. So I'm going to sign off. I appreciate all you guys for watching. And just please like our Facebook page and like it, and also check out our website everyone. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. Soldier of Mayhem signing off.